Here it is, my 1966 Batmobile. It's a replica, of course. This car was completely hand built by myself. I did have some help with a few things on it. My dad helped me out quite a bit on it over the years. My dad's gone now. I had a few friends help me get it prepped for paint. Had some help from a fellow that's in the glass business. Took all my molds to his shop and used his oven to heat up the plexiglass to form it. Just want to explain that steering wheel cover. It's not something I'm particularly proud of. We were invited to take the car to Comic-Con, or a fan expo, first one held in Vancouver, and at 4 in the morning, I guess the morning of, we were supposed to leave, I made that, stuck it on there because the steering wheel cover had an airbag in it, and you can see right here there's a split, so that was all blown apart, and I had to cover it with something, so I made that at 4 in the morning. And then I went to bed, got a couple hours sleep, woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we loaded the car and took it to Vancouver. So we were in Duncan, spent a couple of days over there showing the car off. And that was I think 7 years ago. Car looks as good as ever. Just washed it the other day. Actually showed it to a guy. He's considering buying it. Anyways, the car is for sale. So I know I've posted videos of it before. I'm doing it again. And I should talk about the car a little bit. The engine is a 4.6 liter out of a Mustang, out of a 99 Mustang, and I got it mounted in there. It's actually behind the center line of the front axles or spindles, so I guess you could say this car is a front mid-engine car. I mean, it handles, drives fairly well. I mean, it's on a 77 or 76 rather, 76 Lincoln Continental chassis. So I for what it would have cost me to, or probably for less than what it would have cost me to rebuild the 460 and the automatic transmission that were in it, I bought a wrecked 99 Mustang GT. It's a 5-speed car, so this has a 5-speed in it. And what I did was I grafted in the firewall, so wherever the firewall is, right about here somewhere. The firewall, from the firewall to behind the seat is the Mustang floor pan. So of course they got the Mustang steering column, Mustang seats, the 5-speed transmission. Just gonna reach in here, open the door, and the Mustang cluster inside the roll top dash. So the car runs great. It fun to drive with the 5-speed. Car isn't finished. Needs some interior work. I've got another windshield to put on it that's perfect. I've perfected the process of forming those, so I do have another windshield that needs to go on it. This one isn't the greatest. I've got another console to go in. That console is actually the MDF plug that I built to take a mold off of. I'd like to do something with these seats, get rid of these Mustang emblems. Maybe, and the seats are kind of dark gray. I'd rather have them black. Anyways, that's just all stuff that can be done easily. I would really like to, I don't know if we can see it, but I'd really like to point out a lot of these replicas are just, in my opinion, they're just garbage. They're just slapped together cars, and people are asking a lot of money for them. And one thing I've really noticed a lot is these returns on the body panels. They don't have any. The body comes along, it ends here, and there's just a raw edge right here, as thick as the body is. But you can see in mine, I've got this big, it's almost 1.5 inches return here. It goes all the way up. And actually it's only about 1 inch here, because I had some really wide wheels on it at one point, so I had to trim that back for clearance. But still, it's a substantial lip. And then big wide return here. Hope I can just put my fingers there. You can see how wide that is. And it's all reinforced along here. It's nice and thick. It's like 1 inch thick down at the bottom. Same in the front. Big wide returns. This is like, see this on the front arch? It's over 3 inches wide. This return here. Big wide 1 inch return on this. And actually this car, I believe it's the only one, other than maybe the flip front end cars that Bear's built, that has, see this, it's got a seam here. This front clip's removable. And I don't know if that adds any value to the car or not, but it's just this is what it is. Also, the hood. A lot of replicas, the hoods open up and over the nose, and this all, the beak all comes up and over the nose. Mine opens exactly like the original car. This piece tips in behind, or no, this piece comes up over, the beak tips in. That's exactly how the original car was built. Maybe I can show you that. You can see the beak tips in, and the hood comes up and over. Actually, no, you know, when I think about it now, the way most replicas work is all of this tips inside. I mean, as far as the way the car looks, it's not a big deal, but I do notice that a lot of replicas have a really wide gap in this area, and to me that takes away from the build. And I gotta talk about the doors. Up until I built this car, nobody was using, well, I shouldn't say that, with the exception of one guy who was using Tri-5 door hinges, Don Curry. Nobody was using the Lincoln donor car hinges for the doors. They were all using homemade or barn door type hinges, strap hinges. So I was the first guy to utilize the Lincoln real car hinges, and now I think most of the builders are doing that. But you know, and these are real doors. Like, they're not just, they're all built inside. When you look in the car, you can't see inside the end of the dash. A lot of cars, there's nothing here. It's just a wide open space. You can see into the dash. You look down here, you can see the tire. I don't have the inner wheel wells in this car right now, but they're all built, ready to go in. What else? This is kind of a unique feature to, well, it is absolutely unique to my car only. Put some kind of teardrop molded into the body, teardrop openings there, extrusions or whatever you want to call them. Kind of goes along with the whole windshield shape theme. Little more rounded at the front with the point, and pointier at the back, just like the, see, this is pointier at the back, shallower at the front. It's got a peak there though. Another thing on a lot of replicas is the windshields are right out here on this edge, and that's not the way the original car was built either. It's set in. You see mine are set in. This is the edge of the body line there. It's set in. You see how it's set in here. That's how the original car was. I've got my roll bar inside the back light, but that's how it was originally. And then over the course of some time, there was some issues with the stunt drivers and even the actors not being able to see past the roll bar because it was too low, so they cut it right here, I think, and then they moved it on the top or made a whole new one. I'm not sure. Then I've got my own antlers, and I've got my own aluminum beacon that I built. I think it's pretty close to the original. You know, the canopies were quite an achievement. I built a plug the same shape that I wanted, and took a mold off it, and then turned the mold into the form for the new canopies. What else? I think that's about it. It doesn't have a working flamethrower in it, as far as I'm concerned. Carrying a propane bottle around in your trunk's just an accident waiting to happen. And plus it's illegal. Talking to my son, he's a bit of an electronics guy. We're thinking about making up kind of an LED thing that mimics the flame. That would be neat. May or may not get done. It's got rocket racing wheels. I think they're called Strikes. They're nice wheels. Yeah, I think I've blabbed enough. It's for sale. You know, the last one it sold at Meckham, it was a bit of a pile, and they got 130 grand for it. So that was US money. I'd be happy with that. I don't think I should settle for less. I think there's a lot of cars out there. There's one for sale in Florida right now. Guy, they're asking 300,000. That's a complete joke. It's got some of those elements I talked about, the thin returns on the, you know, it's not a nice car. Anyways, maybe somebody can rip mine apart too, I don't know. But I built this car. I know it inside out. I know it's good. I've driven it quite a while. I've owned it for 18 years. Well, that's when I started building it 18 years ago. So it's time for it to move on. I have I have other projects in mind.